ready for a deep dive. We're going way back, like 4,500 years, back to ancient Sumer,
Wow.
to meet the first author in history whose name we actually know.
Talk about a legacy.
Right. Enheduanna.
Enheduanna.
And she wasn't just some scribe. This was a high priestess, a princess, a scholar.
Oh, living a life of privilege, A&D, political intrigue.
Oh, yeah. Think Game of Thrones, but in ancient Mesopotamia.
Around 2300 BC, to be more precise.
Right around then. And her father was Sargon the Great.
Ah, Sargon, he who pretty much redrew the map of Mesopotamia, didn't he?
Yeah.
Lots of ambition.
Yeah, he was a huge deal, conquering city-states, creating this massive empire.
Which I'm sure made him a few enemies along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Rebellions were a constant threat.
As they tend to be with empires.
But before we get to all that drama, we need to talk about this really cool concept.
Okay. Me. Not what you think. Not emails or anything like that.
No, not those myths.
These mitas were central to Sumerian belief. Think of them as like divine powers, domains of influence, even abstract concepts.
So not just what a god controlled, but their right to control it.
Exactly. Like a divine resume outlining a deity's area of expertise. And this is important because Enheduanna wasn't just writing during any random Tuesday. This was a period of huge religious change. The idea of a supreme god was emerging, and the goddess Inanna, who Enheduanna wrote about, was right in the middle of it all.
So her place in the cosmic pecking order was being challenged?
Precisely, and that's where things get really interesting.
So we've got this powerful princess scholar living in a world of political chaos, shifting religious beliefs, and she decides to write poetry.
Well, when you put it that way, it does sound a little anticlimactic, but this is no ordinary poetry.
Right, because it's 4,500 years old.
That, and it gives us incredible insight into this pivotal moment in history. And the excerpts we have, they come from a hymn called Ninshubur, often translated as the Exaltation of Innana.
The Exaltation of Innana, even the title sounds powerful.
It certainly does. There's a real sense of grandeur, but there's also a nuance here that's easy to miss.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's not about Inanna, like, rising to power on her own. It's more about her being granted that power by another god.
So even the title hints at these power struggles going on.
Exactly. And the poem itself, wow, it's a fascinating mix of political maneuvering and really powerful imagery.
Inanna isn't depicted as some kind of gentle, benevolent deity. No, she's a force of nature, a storm, a flood.
She sounds intense. Oh, she is. Her roar is even likened to dragon's venom.
Yikes, this is not a goddess you want to cross. Which makes you wonder if she's so mighty, what happened to Enheduanna?
Well, that's where things get really, really interesting. The poem shifts from this grand praise of Inanna to a much more personal plea from Enheduanna herself.
Wait, so she's not just singing hymns, she's crying out for help.
That's how it seems. The text tells us she's been removed from her position, exiled, even compares her situation to being in a leper's ward. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience. This was a complete removal from society, from all her religious and political authority.
And if I'm remembering correctly, she believes a rival Lugalan is behind it all, right?
That's what's implied, but here's the really interesting part. Instead of appealing to her father, the king, she turns to Inanna.
So it's not just about getting her old job back. There's something bigger at stake.
You're catching on. It seems Enheduanna understood that her fate was tied to the divine trap. Remember those meads we talked about?
The divine resume.
Exactly. They weren't just abstract concepts. They represented the entire order of the cosmos.
So if Inanna's power is being challenged, it's not just about, like, temple size or sacrifices.
Right. It's about the stability of everything.
The entire universe, even.
Exactly. And in Enheduanna, she's making a bold move here.
Yeah.
By linking her own exile to this disruption of cosmic order, she's saying to restore balance to the universe.
Wow, pretty savvy. But if she's so devoted to Inanna in her writing, was she actually Team Inanna in real life? I mean, we don't have her diary to confirm her personal beliefs.
Right. Yeah, it's a great question, and that's what makes studying her work so fascinating. We have to be careful about taking everything at face value. For all we know, Enheduanna might have been playing both sides, hedging her bets in this chaotic world.
So we may never know her true motivations.
Maybe not. But that doesn't make her any less fascinating.
Right, it just adds to the mystery. So, did it work? Did appealing to Inanna get her reinstated? Did she get her old job back?
Well, unfortunately, the historical record is a bit unclear on that point.
Okay.
We don't know for sure if she ever returned to power.
Oh, come on, that's a bit of a cliffhanger.
It is, but what we do know is that her work survived. It was copied, shared, passed down for centuries, making her the first named author we know of.
What a legacy to leave behind. Thousands of years later, her words still give us this incredible window into this ancient world of gods and goddesses and political intrigue.
It really is remarkable, and it reminds us that even in a world so different from our own, Conrad, certain human experiences remain timeless.
Hmm.
Ambition, rivalry, the search for meaning and purpose, those are things we still grapple with today.
And if Enheduanna could find her voice amidst all that chaos, maybe it inspires us to do the same. To speak our truth, share our stories, connect with one another across time and difference. Something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop diving deep.